really doesn't speak for much here in the fight. I'm expecting this to go to overtime. I'd be very surprised if it doesn't either way. And reminder for all of those who've just tuned in or just come back after that long delay, infinite overtime.
Oh, yes. And how many times have we seen Oregon go to OT? It's such a slogfest, this map, that I wouldn't be surprised if we get an infinite overtime map 1. Empire G2 style with that coastline game that lasted, 22 rounds? I think it ended 12-10. We've never seen a longer competitive game at the top tier. I know across the pond there's been implementation of infinite overtime in SCL a bit, and that's been exciting to see. It certainly creates an interesting dynamic, but this is possible. I would definitely say that we're going to see it a few times here, like I said earlier. I'm interested to see how Jaegers employ this Aruni on the bottom floor, because it was something that they were very happy to bring out quite frequently against Ex-CGG on Friday. It looks like we may have to go for a very quick rehost right at the start. No rehost? No? Okay, they're not calling for the rehost. This is interesting. They're going to play with the cursor bug. Alright, fair enough. But back to my point about the Aruni. She was utilized quite heavily around that electrical area to protect from an electrical drop, to protect from the utility pushing into the site straight away. And it looks like we are actually going to have that rehost, unfortunately. So, yeah, that's going to be coming back to us. The Aruni, though, holding them to electrical, not just protecting the hatch and the... I can use my hands now, this is great. So, the hatch and the electrical door into site, into supply, but also the wall facing construction. And quite often what they would do was have it outside, essentially facing into construction, with a deployable camera behind it, so protecting that piece of utility. And it was just a big sort of funnel of catcher utility that meant that any sort of push that focused on electrical was always going to be slowed somewhat. I like the fact that we see the Wamai ban come out from Ex-CGG, because they've noticed that that is something that they want to lean into on Jaegers. I mean, they stick to their namesake, they play a lot of Jaeger, they bring the Aruni to stack it up, and the Wamai would also sort of lend to that utility burn kind of meta. So sensible choice, I think, from Ex-CGG in that ban.
I'd say the Jaeger use is mixed somewhat. They do often opt for their kind of Wamai. They do like the Aruni in particular as well. I feel like that Wamai is kind of for multiple purposes as well. Maybe not just that sort of element, but also denying Shift on the Clash. Importantly, as we've seen, Shift loves playing the Clash over in West Tower, like the small tower over on the other side. He loves doing that on a first floor defense. He loves just roaming around in general. We've seen it even during the semi-final against Manic, wandering around Cafe, just doing whatever he wanted. That's the sort of thing that I expect to see a lot today. I feel like we're probably not going to see the Clash ban specifically, but we can see things that might facilitate that sort of play or inhibit it specifically in the hands of Ex-Cyberground. I feel like that's part of the plan here as they start out on the attack of the basement. I feel like they've got to try and take even rounds here. I feel like even with the bans being very defender favored for locking things down, it's going to come close. It's always... Jaegers is too good at delaying to mean that you're going to barrel your way through within the first minute or two. It's going to come down to 30-second executes. It's going to be like the old meta yet again. It's just a matter of these gunfights and who can hit the heads. And a lot of that is chance, but at the same time, there's an ever so slight gunning advantage, you imagine, if they keep their players alive at the right moments for Ex-Cyberground.
Yeah, I have to agree there. I think as well, that whole sort of 30-second meta thing that we talk about as casters quite frequently, I feel like it's always going to be present. There's a sort of philosophy on attack that, sure, okay, you don't want to lose to the timer, that feels rubbish, but if you can get an execute down in the last 30 seconds, with whatever advantage or disadvantage you've established, you've used that time, right? And that's time spent droning, that's time spent constricting the defender's possible locations, and it just gives you that option of going in with as much information as possible. And if the rounds were 4 minutes, then you can probably bet that the attackers would use that 4 minutes, because that's valuable time for the attackers as well as it is for the defenders. So while the defenders do want to run it down, they want to force the attackers to spend as much time as possible. They don't want that time to be spent efficiently, and that's the key difference. So making sure that you deny all of that utility, have obstacles up, have barricades, have catching utility, anti-drone utility, force some sort of hard breach problem by denying walls. That's how the game works. Welcome to my TED Talk on Siege, everybody.
I mean, it's very useful. I mean, that's what you're here for, with your kind of old man energy, I guess.
Yeah.
Being the elder of Rainbow Six Siege.
Wow, I've been around for 2 years and I'm already the elder. It's weird. Things move fast here.
Anywho, for all those just not aware, maybe if you're coming in, if we say Shift, that is talking about Big Dave on the side of Jaegers. That is Shift. He just likes changing his name for no reason. He's a bit of a moron. And then if you look on Ex-Cyberground's side, they've got CA. I'm not sure who that is. So that's a big question. I don't know if that's Alex.
I think that's probably Alex, yeah.
He's featured previously in the season under ALX, and I think he had a different name earlier, even further back. So very confusing. I'm calling him CA from now on. If you want to be called Alex, let us know. Start a petition. And Shatter is the only other one, as Ex-Cyberground already start their ingress onto the top floor, doing a pretty standard top floor clear and downwards, where they're going to meet Demantas inside of Split. Doesn't take anything for it. He's going to back off that position. They'll be aware of the Roni presence of the Aruni.
Okay, oh wow, okay, Demantas lands the headshot on to CXA, and it will get shut down in response by Runner. Robbie also picking up Hazard, so now the attackers have that man advantage. And the pace is going to slow a bit because everybody left on the defense is hunkered down. Ex-CGG now have plenty of time to begin their own clear. I want to do a very quick correction. What we're talking about here, the names on Ex-CGG, right? Oh, what? Okay, why is Shatter pushing so quickly? So now that his name's come up, I can confirm Shatter is Alex. Sorry. So Shatter is Alex. CXA is Superstar. So yeah, it's going to get confusing. Yeah, Shatter is Alex.
Who's CA?
I think CA is Superstar. He's been going under no.superstar for quite a while.
Yes, he has. Okay, so well, Shatter was brilliant in the final, the semi-final that the Ex-Cyberground played against Lionscreed. So good that he's in the squad, and good to know who he actually is now. That doesn't surprise me because of the stats from early in this season. Alex was fantastic. No surprise. So there we go. But they're in a bit of a wonky position here. 1 minute left, 3 versus 3. The split angles held by these defenders. 3 canisters and 2 C4s still remaining for Jaegers. That's a horrible thing to come up against here.
There's a lot of useless utility as well on the attack. They don't have much in terms of execute. 1 frag, and then, well, whatever they've got left in terms of intel. The Yana may be useful in that regard, but lots of breaching patches that are, for this site, largely useless. So, it's just about the gunplay here from these guys. C4 comes out. Big Dave with that one. Pause responds, and now Bomber taking out Tazzy, but Big Dave has been down in the process. So, effectively, a 1 versus 1. Takes the pre-fire, lands a few shots, confirms the kill on to Shift, and now 1v1 can begin. Bomber setting this diffuser down.
Oh, it's all down to Pause. We spoke about his impact in these big games. Today, he steps up, takes the first round for Jaegers in the grand final. It's not the most, you can think it's early in the game, it might not matter too much, but those are moments where you can't let slip away. And Jaegers start things off fantastically. A great effort by Bomber, but not quite enough at the end. Jaegers take the first round. Kidstorms and Dorms Main Hall will be the location of their second site. What did that come down to, do you think, Jerry?
Well, it came down to a 1v1 is the first thing. We are being promised a good game already here. We said it would be close, and I don't think we could get a better indication of that than a very first round being so back and forth and coming down to a 1v1 at the death. So, how do we get there? Now, let's pick that apart. Early advantage for Ex-CGG, and in the grand scheme of things, you get the opening pick. Usually that means, we're going to win the round. That rang true for Jaegers Esports, but Ex-CGG with the immediate couple of refrags mean that really that was their round to lose for the most part. They went into that 2-minute marker with a lot of advantage, and at one point, Shift, I believe, just pushed up tower, or sorry, not tower, freezer stairs. We didn't quite catch it as the mute. and shotgunned a player in the chest. There was no
I was gonna
response.
say, there's no way that wasn't Shift being over aggressive.
Yeah. I mean, that was really the key factor in that round, because you're suddenly in a 3 versus 3 with no response, and every single other kill in that round was responded to by the appropriate party. So you got to look at that one and say that Shift was the difference maker. I can't quite recall who it was he killed, but
Shatter.
It was
Alex.
Shatter. Yeah, that was it. So Shatter maybe at fault potentially, but certainly Shift putting the team on his back with that key frag.
Yeah, bringing the man count back even at a very, very crucial moment could have really helped out. Pause. Again, stepping up, very important that he keeps on his best today. Just disappeared one too many times during the previous final. Hate to keep bringing it up, but it's a very important, pertinent point. A couple more P's for you. What, was that? I'm getting confused. I thought there was an alibi for some reason else. Yeah.
I think... No, we haven't got alibis lined up on the defense. We do have her Italian counterpart in the Maestro, so a good option to be swinging with the Aula in these sort of close quarters engagements around the Dawn's area. Oh, wow! Hazard getting very aggressive with his life, staying put, but Shift again with a key frag, responding onto Superstar there, taking out the Zofia. Big picks both ways. No C4 for the defense. No way of denying that wall if the Musi was running impact. But either way, 4 versus 4, and Shift is in a very tight spot. He does manage to get a kill out of it, though. Robbie falling down as he pushes through that doorway, and not enough support from Bomber on the cross. Shatter looking to try and get into position where he can get the refrag as well, and Runner is taken out on his solo push-up White Stairs. Pause protecting Shatter. Protecting Shift does get the kill, but not before Shift goes down himself, and the res comes through onto Runner. It wasn't a solo push-up White, as I assumed. It was instead just a peek, and Demantas will secure the recently resurrected Ashe and leave us in a 1 versus 3.
Pause and Shift syncing up there was brilliant. Shift was basically a sacrifice in that position with the pinch across, and it's just a matter of can he be refragged. Pause waited for that bait, came around and took the refrag. Demantas getting another, and Bomber again is all by himself, but this time 3 players to deal with rather than the 1. It's a great position for Jaegers. They'd be looking towards this second round in a row, bar some heroics from Bomber, and it's a lovely shot. It's a good start, at the very least.
Doesn't have an entryway, though. That closet's locked up, so this is the only way in for him. He's going to spend a bit of time doing droning. He does catch 1 over the push. Spots 1 long by Bunks, and being read out now by that Maluti Banshee. The double peek from the same angle could have been risky for Jaegers, but with the advantage that shield provides, it was an easy clean-up for Pause at the end of it, and we go into our second round. Jaegers already establishing some daylight between themselves and Ex-Cyberground.
It's the start they will have wanted. Ex-Cyberground, it's a matter of keeping it as even as possible, even if they lose another round. But Kitchen and Dining, these are the impactful sites. These are the sites, the tertiary and maybe even whatever you call a 4th one, quarterly site that will really make the difference, because you don't win games via the main sites. These teams are too good. The balance is winning out on these sites here, and Jaegers have a great record here on Kitchen and Dining. They love this site, often bringing out the clash strategy up in the tower. They've done it throughout this season. They've done it against Ex-Cyberground as well the other day, but they're not opting for it this time. They're doing something slightly different, and I like it. They brought the mirror along.
Apparently it's quaternary.
Quaternary, yeah.
Quaternary, yeah. Very rarely used word. I've never heard it, but yeah, quaternary. You're learning something new, folks. But this is not the quaternary site. This is the tertiary site, as you said. Kitchen Dining. We've got a good lineup here to hold this. The mirror being in place certainly strengthened this site quite considerably, and it just means that you can sit back in kitchen with a nice long angle. That being said, yeah, so there's 2 ways that you can play this. You now have that floor level mirror to play inside kitchen, and you can see they've left the wall soft so that you can still play from above, looking through the hatch towards that default plant spot beside behind the sofa. An interesting evil eye there. I just noticed it inside of Zulu. I'd assume that's mostly on drone zapping duty, because it's a really weird place to put it. A little bit of intel, I suppose, for the late game, but often an overlooked as element of Maestro's setup is that, or loadout, is that he can be quite useful at destroying drones as well.
Excuse me, sorry, I'm having some sound issues. I'm just trying to figure some stuff out at the moment. Anywho, so I just can't hear you, Jerry. I'm really having trouble with hearing you.
Okay, well, let's keep on this train. Demantas and Shift being taken out very early on. No Mute, no Jaeger. Each losing their ones. We saw Superstar just clean up shop on that top floor. And now that is top floor control in the hands of the attackers. This could be a very quick round for Ex-CGG. They've established control inside a small tower as well. A little bit of an opening here for Robbie as he sprays through the wall, but gets responded to by Tazzy. That Vector connecting with the head of the Yana. No frags, no Geminis, and a good resistance being put up by Jaegers so far. Oh no. Well, as I say that, Bomber will take out Hazard. And that sounded like a breach from the Selma coming through to pressure the site players. Whether that was from the belt or not, I'm not too sure. Runner finding pause. Superstar gets downed and Bomber will claim the final frag. Just walking up through Freezer Hallway. Finds that last player by flag, and that is Ex-CGG finally getting on the scorecard, putting their first round on the board.
I'm putting my audio through my microphone, which means production might have to lower my voice quite a bit, because it turns it up when I turn the sound up, and it's stupid. So I'm going to be very loud in my own ears, and probably all of yours as well. So
I hope they can hear you at home.
If you're all suffering, it's whoever's fault is trying to run the show right now. So, there you go. Anywho, Ex-Cyberground, I missed quite a lot of that. I didn't quite catch what happened except for the very beginning, which was losing all the top floor presence, Jaegers, very quickly.
Yeah, it was essentially what swung it for them. A couple of ones just not going Jaeger's way on the top floor. You're used to seeing a bit more active support when it comes to the roaming players on the top floor. There was really only Demantas up there. Above kitchen, and usually you'll see two. I don't think the other frag came from nearby. I think that was further afield. Either that or it was a peek onto big window, but either way, not playing passive enough, I don't think, because Jaegers, you're on that position to try and burn time, to try and shoot drones, waste utility, and instead you see the Jaeger just swinging for that peak, and it was just not the way to go. It left Jaegers in a pretty tough position on already a difficult to defend site. So, you know, it goes another way. He wins that one, so suddenly we've got a kind of an edge on a difficult site, and we're praising him. But that's just the way Siege goes sometimes, and I don't think in that case the risk was justified.
It's always a matter of edges here with these two teams in such a high-stakes game in general. But speaking about the impact of Paul's winning out that 1 versus 1, to wait and see, but the similar moments throughout this game around here and there really makes the difference, because these teams, you're imagining at least they'll get 5 maps each, surely, you'd imagine, given just the proficiency of both their attacking and defending a piece. There's very little one of these teams could do to make a huge gulf in terms of rounds, so it's just these little ones here and there that can really make the difference. Again, we're seeing a top-down clear from Ex-Cyberground. It was not very successful last time Jaegers opted for this site, but it came down really to that late hold, and Ex-Cyberground were just in a weakened position. Robbie, he's sensing there might be someone close on the stairs here. There is as well. It's Hazard, but he's very smart. He hears that grenade tug and moves out of position, but he's back here to fight Robbie. Will he be able to swing on the Iana? She's low on bullets with the ARX here. Going for the reload. She does have support. Hazard, he's really taking his time. He does have the support of Shift, but there's another player coming in around the corner. So many here in close proximity. Hazard's in trouble. He's down. Will Shift be taken as well? Yes, he is. Runner and Robbie pick one apiece. C4's gone. 2 players on the top floor dealt with also. Tazzy's downstairs, and it's just Paul, and Demantas in a 2 versus 5.
Demantas, last time we saw him, he was on the top of Big Tower, so now site is completely empty. Demantas on the retreat. The return, he does take 2 out on the way. He punches out that hatch as it's soft, but the diffuser is already going down. The cover is there, with this tight angle being held by Robbie. Diffuser gets planted, so they get to add that to their stat line, but more importantly, for Ex-CGG, they tie us up 2-2.
Wow. That was pretty close. I'm gonna do a quick sound test. I'm gonna say, that was a great round from Ex-Cyberground. That was a great round from Ex-Cyberground. What a fantastic round from Ex-CGG! There you go. There's your.
Our producer, is having the worst time. Just scream in his ears. There we go. Added noise gate for eBack, so hopefully it's a bit better for you guys at home now.
Yeah.
Again, apologies for the various tech issues we've had throughout the day. Even our second producer is having some network issues at the moment, so hopefully those clear up. We've already seen a market improvement from producer 1 to producer 2, which is a strange thing to say on stream. You don't usually switch producers, but we're doing everything in our power to make sure that we bring you this quality game. And it is a quality game. It's about as close as we expected. 2-2 already. Crucially, though, Ex-CGG, they have 2 attacking rounds, and that's 1 onto the basement. I do not think that the gamble of placing Demantas in T3 paid off at all that round. No one on the attack stepped anywhere near him. They were focused purely on that freezer laundry take, and he was holding ground that was absolutely meaningless.
They went one way, and that was it. Ex-CGG, it was very simple, and that can give you a lot of problems in the end, because if Jaegers decide, they realize that they're bunkered in one area, they can just lock down the backside and pay a lot of attention to the front and just have a strong resistance with a turtle strategy. But they didn't back off. Hazard getting over aggressive. He felt with the support of Shift he could probably afford to, but they didn't really support each other properly with that barricaded doorway as well. Just real problems for Jaegers there. And Ex-CGG, it was so much better because it was convincing as well. We've not really had too much in the way of convincing victories so far. That's the first time we've seen a team really win a round properly and having a very strong advantage. So trouble for Jaegers, and again this round already as Shift gets over aggressive yet again, and twice in a row it hasn't worked out for him.
I wouldn't call it over aggression, because in a weird way it's more like a lack of support from his teammates. There's no one there to follow up. Runner taking out Paws as well with no response, and Demantas has to get something on this gamble. Again, it doesn't pay off. This very separated style of play is really biting Jaegers in the butt, and Bummer well, it is a bummer as he takes out 2. It's a bummer for Jaegers, that is. Absolutely no response. Just a storm into sight. And that round, we had 1 team versus 5 players. The team won.
A complete... Just a complete lack of team awareness, and Tazzy, Paws, and Co. were just stuck on site with nothing happening. The roaming presence from Jaegers is being completely taken apart, and a lot of it is work they're doing for the opposition. Ex-CGG didn't do anything to win that out. They didn't put any... There was nothing. They didn't offer anything.
No, it was such a strange round, very unlike Jaegers. Honestly, I think they're not showing due respect to Ex-CGG, are they? They're just kind of like, yeah, we can outgun you. And then they can't. That's the kind of thing that happens when you're overconfident. That hubris has really come out to punish them. And in the long run, we may look back at this map, if Ex-CGG win it in regulation, and say, that was a key round. Because that was a defensive round on dorms that, realistically, Jaeger should be taking home. And their playstyle just completely did not do them any favours there. So I hope that they learn their lesson. I hope that they don't try and overpeak. That at least if they do go for these brazen peaks, they have someone to support and try and get the refrag, because it was just so disconnected. You've got to credit Ex-CGG though. They dismantled Jaegers and they punished them rightly so.
Well, what can Jaegers do this time around? To bring it to the 3-all, they want to go at least even on their defensive side, if not with an advantage, but no opportunity anymore. This roam has been the big issue for Jaegers. They've really had trouble in delaying. Like, Demantas might get a pick, Shift might get a pick, but it's really not doing much for them because CyberGround are in close support of each other. This time around, though, Runner is isolated, and Demantas might actually get a reward for it if he's quick. He does have the support of Hazard, and they are weak from behind as well. The drone's coming out. Jaegers don't want to get stuck in this position. They got to get the kill and get out. They found it. They've not been taken out in response, as Ex-CGG are very split up this time around on the top floor attack.
Yeah, this is a bit of a mirror here. Finally, we see 2 roamers supporting each other, and Shatter just creeping into the view of Malusi. He is holding this passively. He knows that Malusi is likely to be playing in that showers hallway area. Goes to the peak, lands the headshot. Fantastic one there. The crouch peak working out perfectly for the Ana. Establishing that man... Well, re-establishing the even man count, rather. And, crucially, no support this time from Demantus, as there's no refrag.
Yeah, it's another poor bit of play from Hazard. He's really struggled at the start of this game. He's had a really poor time. And he's a player I've basically just not mentioned because he's done a great job. But when he starts not doing a great job, that's a big problem because he's not a regular team player. Big Dave is going to go aggressive again on this angle. He played it on the Valkyrie last time, got a kill, and then died. This time around, he has the FO12, which is a pretty strong position to be in as the Ela. Can he still win the fight? He can. He gets down Robbie, most importantly, but Demantas is down elsewhere. 3 versus 3 now, 1 minute remaining for Ex-CGG.
Yeah, that gun's called the FO12 for a reason. You just sit there and say FO. There we go. We have another kill from Superstar, managing to push up these white stairs completely undetected. Grabbing that key frag. Bomber goes down as well. Tazzy, though, with the response. That's a 2k for the Maestro. Now it's a 1 versus 1, but Superstar is just a bit better, landing that headshot onto Dorms, and then another into the bunks. Fantastic play from the Twitch. Completely solo, turning that round on its head. And that is 4 rounds for Ex-CGG on the attack.
Wow. That's exactly what they need. A good advantage. I was saying they want to take at least 3 rounds and try and keep themselves close. But they have taken themselves ahead here. And now it's just a matter of 3 solid defenses. 2 on the main site, maybe 1 extra somewhere else, or on a repeat if they fail somewhere else. It's a great position for them to be in. CA, they're having a great moment. And Kidstorm starting out on their side. What have Jaegers got to offer up? Because there's really not much going for them right now. They've really dropped off after that really good start. I mean, 4 rounds in a row against them.
You made an error. I don't know what that was in response to, but I just spotted the... well, oh, Jesus, I've just noticed Bomber's KD stats. After the first half, 10 and 3.
Yep.
That's
and he
scary.
heard me earlier saying he had a 0.64 KD, and he's an issue in terms of the frags, and he is proving everyone wrong at the best moment to do so.
It is a good moment to do that. Definitely. Pause bringing out the Capital for this round. Tazzy on the Nomad. It's an interesting lineup here from Jaegers Esports. The Nomad's fairly standard, but certainly the Capital is something that, if I'm not mistaken, Evac, you'll probably be the authority on this. They've been comfortable with bringing in the past quite a lot. There was ever a period where they banned it out a lot, or was that was a different side? Wasn't
No, that was Lexaro.
Yeah, they were very anti-Capital.
Yeah,
with the Wamai ban, this Capital could see a lot of efficient usage.
Exactly, yeah. Using Ex-CGG's ban against them, potentially, during this round. Robbie looks like he's going to do a suspended-style run out, and it works for him. Down goes Big Dave. He needs to be aware of that. It's simple enough for a lap-up for the kill from Robbie, and Pause is the only one with a hard-breaching charge, and that's it for angles open from Jaegers. You've got 1 to choose from. Attic, main breach. They've still got to do it as well, which is going to be tough.
Yeah, that hard breach charge is super valuable now. The impact from beneath, or the fragmentary, doesn't actually grab that mute jammer, which is quite crucial. Has taken control of Armory Stairs. It's met with a C4, but it's a bit late. Oh, the swing coming round afterwards, though, as Robbie is unleashing hell with this FO12. Shatter finds 1 and Superstar another. That's a flawless round at the drop of a hat. Ex-CGG, they've put themselves 3 rounds up so fast.
What? What are we witnessing? This is a collapse from Jaegers
5 in a row.
Esports. Fantastic play from Ex-CGG. They've started on the front foot. They really have. After those 2 rounds where it looked pretty even, tough to call for a lot of it, they've suddenly played. They've started playing. Look at Robbie's play there with the FO12 throughout that round. He's playing aggressive, he's playing with confidence. This is the sort of thing that you do to win a final. You come in with some bravado. You play the way you want to play. You assert yourself. It's something that Jaegers have always struggled with. They're a relatively passive side in general. They do love their strategy. Shift has been mixing it up a lot this season. but they've not offered it so far in this final. And this is a big map for Jaegers. Of course, it's not their pick, and statistically, it's not really their advantage against Ex-Cyberground, but it's a map that they really do rock. They lost it against Lions Creed in the last final, and it looks like they're headed towards a loss right now if they don't turn things around on their attack.
Crucially as well in this matchup, they lost it on Friday against Ex-Cyberground. The same match, essentially, as a best of 2 on Oregon and Coastline, and this was the map they lost here. So it's clearly just not a good matchup for them. They are really struggling here. It was a much closer game on Friday as well. I believe it went to 7-5, if I'm not mistaken, or possibly overtime.
Yes.
And yeah, so this is looking far worse for them. This is, what is this? You don't... Okay. Yeah, you don't put it that way around, because then it gets shot out. That's pretty obvious. I'm pretty sure Superstar's just trolling a bit.
Yeah, something of the sort. Trying to confuse or unnerve Jaegers potentially, which we know can work against some of these players, with a good amount of the roster being here. Oh no.
Wow.
Shift's gone again. Robbie finds him right at the beginning. Thankfully, it is your main supporting player, and he can give intel from those drones and the like, organize the plans from, well, the safety of death, I suppose. But losing a man that early, never an advantage.
No, and you can see Robbie and Bomber, they're roaming as a duo. They're sticking close together. That's how you do it. We saw a flash of that from Jaegers, but then a bit of separation thereafter, and eventually they lost that round. So, oh, did he just throw it out of the map? Like, I think he threw it into the kind of the weed garden there, or the little greenhouse area. So it just burned instantly. That's unfortunate. Damn skybolters.
Anywho, Hazard's down elsewhere. It's Robbie yet again. He finds a second with the RG-15 this round. He's trying to catch up with Bomber. They're both headed towards 10 kills, and CA isn't far behind as well. Jaegers being completely out-fragged at the moment. They have nothing to compete with the gunning skill of their opposition. Robbie does take a lot of damage, but it's not going to really matter too much at this point until he is down. He has no support. Simple enough pick. Oh! Demantas, he's ready for the support, though. I didn't see that mirror, and I don't think Jaegers had much idea until late as well. Thankfully, Demantas keeps his team in it with that kill, bringing us to a 2 versus 3. Now a 2 versus 2. Tazzy steps up as well, takes down the impact killer of Bomber. This could be a good chance for Jaegers.
It's all going quiet a little bit now, as we've got one defender retreating down that tower stairs. Another one still holding the top of Freezer. They're playing for ones here, Ex-CGG, but Demantas and Tazzy, they've learned from their mistakes. They're going to bunch up, try and force their way down. Unfortunately for them, if the adjustment comes through from Ex-CGG, they may be walking into a crossfire, and now they know they are certainly walking into a mirror. They get the location on both remaining defenders, but this is going to be a very tough ask. A couple of frag grenades for Demantas to maybe unseat that mirror player. Besides that, it looks like they're going for that split. They're sending Tazzy round to Freezer to try and deal with one of them, get that cross angle on the mirror. Swing comes wide. Oh, he gets stunned out by that Grishma, I believe, and then the C4 almost killing Tazzy. 20 seconds left, eBack.
Oh, but the Vector will finish the job. Good shot from CA. Tazzy's down. All left for Demantas. He takes even more damage off of CA. It's actually Shatter who gets the final kill. Simple enough for them to seal it out with 10 seconds left. Bullets go whizzing right past the head of the mute, but it's still not enough. Jaegers already in a horrible, horrible position. It's match point here.
That's 6 rounds in a row for Ex-Cyberground Academy. This is nuts, what we're seeing. Demantas with some very nice heads-up gunplay there. But you can see the mirror had already done the damage in the kill feed, finding pause on the Capitao, and it was just a numbers game, really, for Ex-CGG. They're keeping themselves in it with these frags, and at the very start of that round, and from the start of this defensive round in particular, or defensive half in particular, Robbie has come alive on the Ella. He's strung together multiple multi-kills, and he's always giving them this edge, and it's making a massive difference when it comes down to these final few seconds in that execute. And, well, in the Dorm's defense, it didn't even matter. They flawlessed it.
Again,
I sense the eBack, the Jaegers fan in you dying a little inside.
Yeah, slightly. And Hazard he's not shown up at all. It's a big issue. When Jaegers lost US earlier in the season, there were questions. We were like, what are they going to do with the lack of that fragging man? They brought Hazard in as a sub player. He's still in, and he's done a great job up till now, but absolutely disappearing off the face of the earth. And the fact that Shift is dropping so early in multiple rounds in a row is a huge problem for Ex-CGG. They're still going aggressive. They're prepping jump outs. They're ready to go. They're on the front foot. Why stop now? They have so many rounds to potentially throw away. CEA here, he's going again for another aggressive move. It's the peak that Robbie did earlier. It's not going to work out for now, but Jaegers have a lot on their hands, and right now, Ex-CGG, they're stepping towards a victory. Demantas, he strikes back on to CA, but Bomber finds the trade. Hazard back in the advantage for Jaegers. 4 versus 3 advantage now for them towards this peak battle. You can see with the presence, there's nobody on the site. Ex-CGG have 3 players left, and they're all over on the east side of the map. It's the riskiest play, but Robbie takes down Tazzy with the RG-15. He's not stopping anytime soon. Down to Pause, Shift, and Hazard. None of them appearing so far today. Hazard gets wiped off before he can make any impact. 3 versus 2. The advantage now for CyberGround. They're so close here to the first map. It's all left for Pause. Robbie's outside by the diffuser. It's only a matter of time. Surely the LMG could definitely help out Pause in this position. He's got no time. And now Rudder seals the kill. Seals the map 1 for Ex-CGG. 7-2. An absolute demolition job.
The disrespect from Ex-CGG in that round was so... Oh, I'm lost for words. I am honestly lost for words. The one tap in the middle of all that from Robbie. I was saying that he woke up on the defensive half. He went 10 and 5, and I don't think he... Oh, he died once on the defensive split. That's 7 rounds in a row. We saw Jaegers go 2-0 up, and I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be a close game. We were wrong. We were very wrong.
Nope, map 1 very much in favour of the home side. Jaegers map pick next will be Villa. I'm hoping that's a bit closer in general, but there's really not much to go off so far. Again, a no-show from Pause, no-show from the entire rest of the team. There were some moments, some kills here and there. That is not enough for this team. Getting absolutely stomped. 7 rounds in a row, lost on Oregon, 4 of them on the defensive side. Not good enough if they want to win. Ex-CGG currently, they take 1 step, and a very quick step. I think we're going to go to a quick break now.
I think we have replays to show for us, so we can quickly talk through that map. But while these are playing, I want to just highlight the fact that that's a 7-2, and right now, Jaegers, they need to mentally reset, okay? This is a huge...
It's the biggest win. Isn't that the biggest map win in an ECS final? I haven't seen any bigger than that.
It's been a very long time. Our record keeping is so much better now than it once was, but I think certainly if you're looking at last season, there was no 7-2s. It was all quite close affairs, and Ex-CGG, they've come out swinging. This is scary.
Yeah, it's a bit terrifying. There's really... It's going to be a crazy Villa, I'll tell you that. If Oregon is that explosive and aggressive from Ex-CGG, I don't know what awaits us over on Villa. You're going to have to see. Neo might. And for evac awards wise, what I mentioned, there's also the staff player of the season and of course evacs player of the season, just my standard one. I am actually, it's going to be between some of these players here today, and I've actually left it until the final is over to say who it is. And the Jaegers players don't really have too much chance at the moment if it continues on like this.
No, you've got a couple of candidates of Oregon MVP. I'd say honestly Robbie is my MVP, but Bomber really did fantastically on the attacking half as well, and that's technically the harder half, so you've got a decent shout for either of those players. But yeah, I'm just gobsmacked. I really did not think it was going to be that one-sided, and I hope that it's not going to be that one-sided for the rest of the best of 5, otherwise we've got a completely different afternoon planned than the one we expected.
I might have to find something to do this evening.
Yeah, well,
Dear me.
fingers crossed. I believe we're going to be throwing to a fairly short break in a moment, just so that we can get a breather before map 2, which will be Villa. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back very shortly.